channel Mom Story by Sana. And like in the last episode, we had Digangana Mukherjee with us, who shared some really beautiful memories and beautiful experiences with us. So today we are going to have Kunal also along with Digangana to share
Right.
his experience. And thanks to my husband Rishu, who could spare little time to like talk to our new friends Digangana and Kunal. So, so today it's basically it's about talking about fatherhood. So that's why we have two great fathers sitting next to us. So, hi Kunal, hi Digangana.
Hi.
Welcome,
Hi.
Hi.
welcome again to our channel, Mom Story by Sana. So, without wasting much time, let's talk about the fatherhood.
Yeah, Kunal, it's often said that motherhood comes naturally, and fatherhood it comes, learning bit by bit. And I'm sure that I know that you were already a father of one, but then
Two,
already a father of
yeah,
one,
already.
and then
Sorry.
Already.
adopted. But yeah, learning is something that we kind of learn every day. How was your experience, especially when you have one biological kid at home and then you're bringing another a heart baby to your home? So how did you manage? First is manage, and second is in terms of the feeling that you had when you had two babies in your lap, and each eyeing for your attention at the home, especially while working. How was the experience that probably we can also learn from what you have gone through or what you have
Maybe
experienced?
it's the same or something different. We can, like
I don't know.
always. So let Kunal say like
Yeah.
what he has to do.
Uh, well, my fatherhood is actually for the second kid is divided into two parts. The first part was bringing her home, and the second part was after we got her home. Because unfortunately or fortunately, the pandemic had set in when we got the kid, the information about the kid, and at that point of time, Bangalore was in complete shutdown. So, getting all the documentation done, then the decision to drive down from Karnataka to Maharashtra and getting her, that itself was an amazing journey for us. So yeah, that part I would briefly tell you. So what happened was, since as you know that pandemic had set in and we got our call in July, and we got just about a week or so to get all the documents ready and drive down. Uh, the biggest challenge what we had at that point of time was, uh, there were so many unknown factors with the COVID situation, and it was a scary journey for us. But once the thing that kept us motivated was, that little girl's photo with that we had seen and already fallen in love with that. So I think that was a good driving force. So we drove down from here to Maharashtra, and then once we reached that, all the paperwork and all happened. We thought that we will get some break in between because it's almost like 1100 kilometers one way. So I had driven the whole night the previous day. In the morning, I reached, did all the paperwork in court, and I was planning to get some rest before we can drive back down. But the agency had said that no, they are not going to leave the kid with us in a hotel because of COVID. So what happened? We had to drive back on the same day. Luckily, I got around 2-3 hours of rest in between. I told that I need some rest. So yeah, I mean, getting those 2-3 hours of rest, we started the previous day at 6 o'clock and reached almost after 22 hours of drive because we were stopping on the way every 2 hours to feed the kid. In my entire life, this is probably one of the biggest adventure, I would say. Firstly, because I had to leave my son for the first time with my friends. That was an emotional thing for us. Secondly, was this journey for us with the newborn kid was something which we never calculated. We never imagined that it is going to be this way. Because for us, we knew that we'll take the flight. All comfort, everything will be done. But as you said, adversity is the greatest teacher. So that 20 hours of journey was indeed a great 22 hours of journey was indeed a great lesson for us. But when you see a kid in your arms, especially when we got Upalabdhi, she was such a smiling sweetheart for us. I mean, you don't need motivation. Nothing can motivate you more than that. When I look back now, somebody tells me to drive for 22 hours, I'm just going to say no to that. But somewhere that journey itself was an amazing one. And as I said, the motivation was there in our arms. So as you asked me a question, what was the feeling first time when I got, this entire journey for us was on adrenaline. So really, when I got her in my arms for the first time, she was smiling. My brain was not processing everything. But when I came back home with her, for the first time, I held her. I mean, everything was peaceful. I was at my home. All my hormones are in a normal phase. I got her in my lap. I realized that now I have two kids and it's not going to be an easy thing. So, one thing I felt was that the adoption journey for both of us was almost on the same platform, in, both emotionally, physically, and everything. Like, unlike our biological child, where she had more physical involvement, and for us it was like going to the doctors every 2 months, preparing us for the eventual date. This was kind of a different, because both of us, we didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
uh, for us everything was new, and we are starting on the same platform. So for the first time, I think I have an advantage to so to speak of. But yeah, I mean, once I got her in my arms and all, I really felt, the kind of responsibility that will come with it, because we had discussed a lot. I've attended a lot of counseling sessions. I've discussed with people, everything said and done. But you can prepare as much as you want for your exam, but until you get the question paper in your hand, nothing will work. You don't know what is. So we are still figuring out with two kids.
Almost 1 year down the line.
Almost 1 year down the line, we are much better state than we were when we started. We are handling things better, I guess. She is growing up faster, and with two kids, I believe that now we are in a better state and we can comment on a lot of things. But the start of the journey was filled with uncertainties, and now we are in a position where we know the parameters and we know how to deal with things, and it is going much better. So as a father, there were two different journeys for me with my biological kid and this, but thanks to COVID and all, the second one became an adventure for us. And then, like, once we got into the whole process, things went smoothly from there on.
One observation from what you have said is, once you looked at the baby and the way you felt, I'm sure that it's first love at first sight that you went through. But sometimes the journey is not always so seamless, or so, I would say, smoothen out, especially when you're dealing with a lot of people who have gone into a process, especially the process like CARA, which was around 4 or 5 years old, and not many agencies are still aware of the process, and they are also progressing, they are also learning while going through this journey. Have you felt any difficulty on the ground when you went to meet the people? Any expectation that you had which was completely 180-degree different? Were there any
Okay.
experiences as such, or it was very smooth and straight, and or probably a straight line for you, where you everything was planned and it happened in that way?
Okay, so my expectations were pretty low. Let me start by telling that.
Okay.
Initially, I had heard so many stories about not things not going right. When I started this whole process, and when the final thing happened, my expectations was quite low. And I being a very methodical person, I had prepared myself for with all the documentation and everything, and I have meticulously put everything in a slide, and that's how I operate. Once I reached there, thankfully our agency was very, very organized.
Yeah.
I would give them 5 out of 5, because they were, I mean, they were well prepared. They had arranged everything. All the meetings were scheduled properly.
Yeah.
And especially during the pandemic, when we don't get the luxury of traveling too much, they had ensured that uh, everything was done at one go, instead of us going and up and down the courtroom. The judges were very cooperative, I must say. Even when we went for the final
Hearing.
the final
Hearing,
signature and the
court
final
hearing,
hearing,
yeah.
court hearing. Even at that point of time, everything was smooth. So my personal experience has been good, maybe because the agency turned out to be good.
Yeah.
Coming back to love at first sight, yes, when I saw her smiling face, it was something which, uh, I mean, she was very, very emotional at that point of time, and I still adore the picture where I see her crying and my baby laughing.
Yeah.
For me, when I saw her picture and when we got the feedback from doctors that everything is clear, I think at that point of time I was already a father. So
Mhm.
when I went there, I was already in love, you can say. So
Great.
when I saw her in reality for the first time, I was already in love. It wasn't much difficult for me to get used to that.
Great. I think things have improved a lot on the ground these days because
Yes,
CARA has
Yes.
also
yes.
evolved and the agencies have also evolved.
Correct.
I think that's a probably a good news for all the parents who are looking forward to bring their heart child to their home. It's a
Yeah.
great respite for them.
Because now there is a process. It's not like one agency can do one thing, the other can do the other thing, right? And another thing I feel is there is also, thanks to the Facebook groups or even WhatsApp groups that are intercity groups that are being formed, there is slowly, which was not there I think 10 years or 12 years back. What is happening is there's a community that people are building, right? So I can, if at any point in time, and it happened for us also, any point in time we had any question or we had any doubt, there were people we could reach out to. And I think this is very important. We need to, I mean, in future I would say we need to really build this community up a little bit more stronger and in a more
Organized.
organized way, right?
Great. One question, probably I think you might have discussed, but generally people adopt when they don't have a kid, or the first child is not a biological child. So when they the thought of or the thinking of adoption comes into their mind, uh, but you have already experienced that parenthood earlier. But how this entire heart baby concept, or probably it was it earlier in your mind and it it just you just followed it. How was it? How this thing came into your mind, or in your or probably whose decision was that? First decision. I'm saying not it is decision. Decision is both.
Initiate. Who
Who
initiated?
initiated it as a parent?
See, basically, when somebody comes to me and asks me for some kind of counseling regarding adoption, the first thing I tell them, don't adopt for any particular reason. Adopt because you want to adopt. Because if you go for reasons, you will find many reasons, but the adoption should come from within you. That is the most important thing. If you don't believe in that, then you might have 100 reasons. Not having biological kid may be one of them, but you will have. Don't adopt for a reason. Adopt because you want. That is number one. Secondly, luckily, before marriage as well, before I met her as well, I used to, I mean, that time I was bachelor, newly joined the software industry, a lot of CSR activities happening over the weekends. I used to go and visit this ashrams. I was in Pune. And I have been in touch with, kids who don't have parents. And I really felt that if I have the capacity somewhere in future, if I have a supportive family, I would go for an adoption, irrespective of what happens, whether I have a biological kid or not. So when I met her, even before we got married, we had a very clear cut discussion, and luckily she was on board. She said, we
That was
have,
my one thing
I
condition to
mean,
him
that was
before
one of the
marriage,
conditions for marriage.
that
Okay.
I always knew I wanted to have a hard baby, okay? And before we got married, because I know for a cause that how difficult it is if one parent is ready and the other is not. Okay, then that journey becomes very, very bumpy, you know. So before our family started talking and, you know, our dates and everything were getting finalized, I think one day when we met and I said that, okay, there is one thing I really wanted to discuss with you, you know, before we formalize or officiate. And that is, you know, I have always wanted and I want to. This is not a choice. I want to have a heart baby once we are married. And this man, he didn't even blink. He was like, yes, of course. I mean, that's fine. Okay. So
People who are adopting, if proper counseling is given to them, I can see that many people will go for it.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that
Yeah.
they don't have a proper guidance.
Yeah, you're completely right. I think one statement that you gave, which adopt if you want to, not because of a
Yeah,
reason. So I
because
think
Any
that
other reason.
every adoptive parent or people who are looking forward for bringing their heart child or adoption should should think about it, because it's
actually,
not
it's a
just a
very beautiful message that Kunal you have said in this today's episode, that adopt only if you have a strong conviction of your
Yes.
adoption. Otherwise, just don't go for it.
Mm.
So
Little things that you are doing through your channel like this, if at least we have people, like 10, 20 people talking about it, because in India people don't talk about it.
people don't
It's
talk
still a
about it.
stigma.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
It's still
We
a
are
taboo,
very
right?
hesitant, and it has always been a hush hush affair. And I think I don't know for how many more years it's going to be like that. But yeah, we
We
just
But
have
want
to
to.
break that. You are breaking it, so kudos to you and thank you to you. Okay.
Thank you so much for giving so much credit to our channel. But and thanks to parents like you, people like you are actually so bold and proactive to come forward and share your ideas and your experiences, because only we talking will not be that helpful for people. But where there are real parents who are coming in and talking about it, then it's a hope for other parents also. And like they get ideas. Okay, अच्छा ये ऐसे नहीं हो रहा है तो ऐसे कर सकते हैं.
ऐसे
अच्छा
exactly.
ये ऐसे
Yeah.
सिचुएशन में अगर मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम आती है तो शायद मैं इस तरह से इसको सॉल्व कर सकते हैं.
But these days, I see a lot of people coming forward, helping each other, and yeah,
Yeah.
that apart from the self-help group, there are parents who share their experience, say what has happened to them during the process, how they made their
Correct.
mind while adopting. So I think there are a lot of people are opening up now, and
Who have gone through the journey. I think it is also our responsibility to make it normal,
Correct.
right? And I think that's what we are doing today. Four of
yes,
us
we'll
sitting
keep
here,
doing our
trying
best
to talk.
to
Yeah.
create awareness, because the problems that you have faced during your waiting period, we also faced. That's the reason, and that was the basis of this channel. Ki, at the max, what we can do is create awareness
Yeah,
around it.
create
Yeah.
awareness and help others whoever is in need, like whatever we know, like with our experience, maybe with your experience.
Thank you so much for coming on our channel and sharing our your experience, your pre and post both adoption experience. Thank you so much, and I hope that many parent who are willing to go on this journey of parenthood will take your experience in a way it should be taken, and move forward, look positive, and bring their heart child to their home. That's what we hope, and
Absolutely.
it
We wish.
create a
Yeah,
family
we wish to. Thank you.
which is bonded out of love. Thank you so much. Thank you so much once again to come to our
Thank
channel.
you for
Thank you for
inviting us.
Thank you.
allowing us to share our views with everyone. I am hoping that if one person gets benefited,
Yeah.
I think our
Absolutely.
job is
Job
done.
is done.
Half done, but yeah, still done.
Thank you very much again to Digangana and Kunal for coming forward and sharing their experiences with us. So don't go anywhere, and please subscribe to our channel. And because we are going to bring to you a lot of experiences and stories of more adoptive parents in future. So stay tuned to our channel, Mom Story by Sahana. If you have any doubts, if you want to clarify any doubts, any queries, don't hesitate to mail me on momstorybysahana@gmail.com, or you can always comment below the video. Thank you so much. Take care. Namaskar.